In studio with our co-host, he is a New York Times best-selling author, retired firefighter, and safety engineer, Mr. John Gilstrap.
Good morning.
26 years he spent in the House of Delegates, although not in a row, and also achieved the level of Deputy Secretary, Revenue Secretary of the state of West Virginia, Mr. John Doyle.
Good morning, everybody.
Now, many people ask me if you ever taught class. John, was John Doyle ever a teacher?
No.
Did you ever consider being a teacher?
I've thought about doing substitute work and decided not to.
Ultimately, stayed out of the classroom.
Correct.
All right. John, also a Vietnam War veteran, too. Thank you for your service, sir.
Yes.
I'm just happy to be here.
I can imagine. Yeah. Our guests in this segment include the very familiar Steve Allen, though not the late-night television host from the 1950s.
I only wish that I made this money, and I was as prolific in writing and musically inclined. I can play a little bit piano, can't read the music and do it that way, but the guitar, and back in elementary school and even early high school, played the cornet, similar to a trumpet.
The cornet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I knew you played a little guitar. I didn't know you had piano skills.
Yeah. And then I converted over to being a drummer because drummers were cool.
Oh, yeah, well, the drummer. Yeah, very nice. When was the last time you played the drums?
Oh, Lord. High school and high school band and so forth.
I can assume you
when
don't
I
have
wasn't playing football and on the football field, then I was playing drums.
You went to Hedgesville?
Martinsburg.
I'm
a Bulldog.
I'll get that right.
When I was in high school, I had a friend, Phil Walls, who could pound out anything on the piano. Whether it's classical or Jerry Lee Lewis or anything, he could not read a dot of music.
Really?
It was all
by ear.
It was all by ear.
That's astounding.
Incredible, yeah.
Now you've got a new sidekick.
Absolutely, yes. And I'll introduce him first, and then if you'd like, have him give some background and so forth. But with us, direct from the Jefferson County Health Department, which was his former place of employment, is Brandon Wonder. Brandon is now our public affairs coordinator, and he brings with him a wealth of knowledge and experience. And if Brandon could tell us what all he's done and his background and so forth.
Brandon, welcome to the show.
Thank you, and thank you for everyone for having me this morning. And
sure.
And good morning to everyone. My name is Brandon Wonder. I'm the new public affairs coordinator. Originally, I came from Long Island, New York, so just North Shore, Glen Cove area. If you know Oyster Bay, you know pretty much Glen Cove. Was there originally, came down to Millersville University.
Hey, my son went to Millersville.
Yeah, I did hear about that.
Yeah.
Steve did tell me. But there I did a bachelor's in meteorology and a master's in emergency management. I then stayed in Pennsylvania for a little bit, did an internship there. It was, that was very informative. I had a internship with the fire marshal there, and he kind of went over a lot of the fire safety stuff. We did fire inspections there, but also did a lot of emergency management. They kind of go hand in hand with some fire stuff as well. And then from there, went to the public health department in Jefferson County. There, basically did emergency management, but for public health specifically. Just a lot of stuff about pods or points of dispensing, putting out medicines for anybody who might need it during disaster, and setting up and helping out with setting up shelters and being there just in general for any medical needs. And then I'm here now at the emergency management department with Steve and Dick, and I'm really happy to be here. And
what attracted you to this line of work?
Well, originally I was in meteorology, so. Meteorology is unfortunately not the study of meteors. I wish it was.
It makes sense that it would be, wouldn't it?
It sounds very fun, but unfortunately it is not that. But it is.
You didn't learn that, so you paid all the tuition dollars.
Yeah, must have missed that part of the curriculum.
$30,000 in debt, and I didn't even see a meteor.
But I did. It is a study of weather, and I originally, actually, before all that, I did racing, go-karts, and race cars.
Oh, cool.
Nationally throughout the country. Went from New York to Pennsylvania to Florida to Illinois, everywhere.
Did you ever race at Hagerstown, the dirt tracks there?
No, not Hagerstown. My family has raced before in Summit Point, so we have a little bit of a history there, but. Outside of that, I think the closest I got to here was in New Jersey, as well as the western side of Pennsylvania. So from that, traveled around, saw a lot of different weather stuff, saw a lot of, thunderstorms, hail, not as many hurricanes just because it was more inland, a lot of the stuff.
Did you do chasing and filming?
See, I didn't do any film. Well, the filming was basically on my little
Sure.
iPhone. That was the most filming I ever really did. But did some chasing in college, but it wasn't really encouraged, I guess is the best way to put it.
Because it's stupid.
Put yourself in the path of a tornado, right?
I do enjoy watching those YouTube videos of this other college-age kids, I guess, doing storm chasing, and then they're running right in the middle of a hurricane, and they're in their car crying, "No, God, please save me, please save me." God's going, "You shouldn't have been so stupid to chase the storm."
And it was the only one I really did mostly was we did a line of storms that came through back towards Millersville area, drove through Hershey, drove through that area, and saw a lot of interesting things. And it became nighttime, and it was not as interesting and as fun anymore. It's a lot of wind and rain and lightning, and you don't know where the heck you're going. So, so not much on chasing side, but.
Okay. Well,
my last 2 years in the House of Delegates, my office partner, the two of us shared an office, was a guy named Jim Barrack, Barach, who had just retired as the meteorologist for one of the TV stations in Charleston. And he had been all over the country. He'd done it in Las Vegas. He'd done it in a small town in Michigan. And I learned a whole lot about meteorology just listening to him, sitting there in the office together. It's fascinating. I really love it. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. October is a special month for your folks at work there, Steve.
Well, and for us and for my previous life, with and actually what occurred, and I know John will know the answer. What occurred on October 8th, 1871? The question for the day.
Did it involve Mrs. O'Leary and her bovine friend?
That's why I said you would know.
Great Chicago Fire.
Gilstrap would know. Exactly. And of course, that's why the NFPA, the National Fire Protection Association, always has had Fire Prevention Week during that week, the week of the Great Chicago Fire. Oh. However, with doing fire education, now, and like I said, in my previous life of over 20 years of going to each one of the elementary schools in Berkeley County, and we had around 3,000 children. And right now, as we speak, I would imagine that the firefighters from the city of Martinsburg and Berkeley Fire are out doing fire education over a period of 2 to 3 weeks. That took us that long to do each one of those schools in Berkeley County. Mm-hmm. Jefferson County, I know I heard some of the firefighters out yesterday on a special event doing fire education. So many of our firefighter friends and brethren are out this week, especially going to educate our primary schools and even some secondary schools, because you over a period of time you can make it natural that when the smoke detector goes off, you roll out of bed, if you're in bed, asleep, of course, taking that into consideration, onto the floor, crawling over to the door, feeling the door. If the door's hot, you need to have a second way out, but you don't use that door to go out generally. But you're staying low because of any smoke. The smoke rises. And once you get outside, you don't go back in. Not for a cell phone, not for, you forgot this or that, or even their dogs or pets. If the pets don't come to them, we taught the children, don't go back in, tell the fire department when we get on the scene, and we will go in and find your dog for you and bring it out. And then many times that occurred, where you were looking for dogs or cats or whatever that were left in.
Now, you mentioned October the 8th, and I do a thing every morning for Today in History. And this is what Today in History says about October 8th.
October 8th, right.
Right, 1871.
For yesterday, not today. Today's the 9th,
Yesterday,
right?
correct. Yeah. Slash and burn land management, months of drought, and the passage of a strong cold front caused the Peshtigo Fire, the Great Chicago Fire, and the Great Michigan Fires to break out.
And that was a greater loss of life than the Great Chicago Fire. That's correct. Yeah, in a brush fire. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And it drove people into the creeks to get away or
like
to try to get
in
away.
Hawaii a
Yes.
couple years back.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yes. Yeah.
had to jump into the ocean. John, did you ever go in and save a dog or a cat for a kid?
Not a live one.
Too late.
We were fortunate.
Oh, that's a
Some-
happy
oh, yeah.
thought.
Well, he asked me. You know, it was. We used to during open houses. I always enjoyed open houses, and we used to do a thing where we get a firefighter to kit up completely with the mask
It's
and everything.
friendly monster. Right.
Yeah, friendly monster, and you get the little ones to come up and just you kind of hug a
Hug and
firefighter,
shake hands, yep.
because it's a scary looking
Yeah.
thing at a scary time, right?
You sound like Darth Vader.
You do.
If anybody knows who Darth Vader was, but
Yeah.
in self-contained breathing apparatus, that's kind of what you
That-
sound like. Is
Yeah.
So, but we really enjoyed that. That was a great time. It was a lot of work because scheduling all of those, and I was fortunate.
It's a lot of
we
polishing.
had the fire engines are always cleaned and washed and sparkling because most of the time our staff was there, and that was the whole thing. But you're exactly right. That's definitely that, and parades. The fire apparatus is always cleaned out.
Well, that was the job of the misbehaved kids in the town where I grew up. If you got busted doing something bad, you got sentenced to washing the fire trucks
Yep.
at the fire station.
Yeah, washing the tires. That's that was from the ground up, so to speak. That's one of the first jobs as a probationary firefighter was, okay, let me teach you how to wash the tires, and not only the tires, but the fender wells. And
I understand from your youth, Mr. Allen, you would have been sentenced to a lot of fire truck washing.
oh my Lord, yes, yes, very much.
That's how you got your interest.
I was the cause of a lot of concern for my mother, and whether she was going to let me live.
Well, I guess the answer was yes.
Yes.
She would let you. Yeah. So go ahead, Brandy. I guess you were about to add to that. I didn't want to cut you off there. Sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. So yeah, when it comes to fires, I mean the biggest thing is just making sure that smoke detectors are up to date, making sure that they're within, if it's 10 years or more, probably time to switch them out, put new ones in with the batteries.
Because they'll beep if you don't change them out.
Yeah, they'll beep. For the batteries wise, you should change them out about twice a year. I mean, but they'll be very annoying if you don't. Trust me.
And it's always at 3 a.m., by the way.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's always at 3 a.m. and then whenever you forget about it, it'll come back up again at like 5 a.m. So
Yeah. Now,
remember.
the smoke detectors now, it's pretty much a 2-in-1 unit with a carbon monoxide detector and a smoke detector all in the same unit.
Yeah, a lot of the newer ones are nowadays, and what the bigger thing is now, a lot of places are doing, which is good, is that they interconnect a lot of the fire alarms or smoke detectors, and if one goes off, they'll all go off. Found that out very quickly in the apartment I live in, is that when I guess one of them started malfunctioning, they all went off at about, like you said, 3 a.m. in the morning. So
Sure.
that was a great thing to wake up to. Sure.
And here's the thing. I have my house is 4 years old. The new smoke detectors, when the battery goes low, it cycles through. So you get the beep and it goes fire, 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 evacuate, evacuate, fire, fire, fire.
It doesn't say low battery.
No, it does not say low battery, and then it stops.
Yeah.
Now, would it kill him to put a little light on that says I'm the one that's low? But I got smoke detectors all over the house, over 3 levels, right?
Which one's beeping?
See,
Right. Yeah, that's me.
Well, here's my story about it. 2 years ago, I added a room onto my house, a bedroom, so we had to have a smoke detector in there, replace the other smoke detectors. I can't remember who the electrician is. I'm told he's out of business now. But now those smoke detectors, if I've taken a shower and it's too hot and a whole lot of steam, the one right outside, when I open the door, that thing just starts beeping and beeping and beeping. Yep. I thought it was only supposed to be smoke, they figured out.
Yeah, why steam?
Because it goes between the sensors. There's that little radioactive source, and that's how they they work. Ionization, one of them is ionization.
It blocks the view between.
And that's really what it's about, is the view
like
being
an electric
blocked.
eye.
On that one, on that style.
I would switch that one out.
I
if
think
was
it's
you.
disgusting.
That have the fan on, and I'm
I
guilty of
no,
that as
I
well.
have
having that
even
fan
with the
on and
fan
still
on, but
so
if
much
it's-
steam. Yeah.
I have a tendency to linger in the shower, and so
Why do you have a
it-
smoke detector in your bathroom?
No, it's
just
outside.
No, it's in the hallway.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Out in the hallway. As soon as I open
Hallway
the
of
door,
each level, yeah.
yeah.
The bedroom space and so forth.
It's
so they're
absolutely
in there.
unacceptable,
And I have battery backup.
and
as
I
well
can't do
on
anything
mine.
about it.
Yeah.
Okay, true. Statute of limitations is over. True confessions. When you're in a working fire and those things keep going,
Oh yeah.
and it screws up radio communications, I have taken out a lot of smoke detectors. Just take them out. Just get rid
Well,
of
at
them.
that
The ones
point,
that haven't melted and run down the wall.
Yeah,
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
just yeah.
at that point, what's the difference?
Exactly. I know.
We
It's
already know
I know.
there's a fire.
I know it's smoking. I know.
It's going to have to be replaced.
I know. I'm aware.
It's
Okay.
definitely going to have to be replaced.
That's why I'm here.
God, yeah.
That's why you called me. Yeah. Steve, so this happened to me maybe 30 years ago at a house I used to live in. It was Christmas Day, and it was actually nighttime. So I'm looking out my front window, and white smoke is coming down the street. And I thought that was more than what normally you would see from a fireplace, for instance. Yeah. So I actually walked out the house, walked up the street about 8 houses, and my neighbor's chimney was on fire. They were not aware of that.
Yeah, well, and they were probably, if it was, you say Christmas Eve or Christmas Day or
It's Christmas Day night.
Christmas Day, so they were opening up gifts. That's a habit, and let's burn all of that paper from the wrapping in the fireplace. Paper burning is higher than what you normally would have with your wood and things like that. So you have that higher temperature of that setting off the creosote and whatever had accumulated in that chimney. So now you have the
chimney's on fire.
Yeah.
So I knocked on the door and I said, "Your chimney's on fire," and that caused them to call 911. I grabbed their garden hose and started spraying the chimney. And then the fire department arrived. I wasn't spraying the chimney. What I was spraying was the embers that were flying out of the chimney and landing on the other person's house. I was hitting those.
Yep.
Then the fire department arrived and they took care of things. So about 10 minutes later, I get a knock on my door, and it's my neighbor from about 8 houses up. And he said, "Hey, just want to thank you for helping me not burn my house down." He said it was my stupid brother-in-law. He put one of those fire starter logs
oh Lord, okay.
in the fireplace, and that's what overheated, I guess, all the creosote.
It wasn't from or trying to get rid of their.
Well, he didn't admit to
paper.
that.
Oh, okay.
That made it harder. He blamed it on his brother-in-law and the fire starter log. So are those fire starter logs not really actually safe to use in a fireplace?
I have never heard that they weren't safe to use.
I don't think that's a problem. What happens? You
John.
go a long time not cleaning the chimney, the creosote.
Yeah.
It's a
it includes
tarry,
the
waxy,
opening too. Yeah.
combustible that chokes. It narrows the diameter inside the chimney.
Now, I will say this, that I had the same builder as he had, and the builder had left instructions behind with the fireplace that they put in, which said, "Do not use fire starter logs. The temperature is too hot for these styles of chimneys."
Interesting to know. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that it would had. I mean, you definitely wouldn't want to put gasoline or kerosene or anything like you put on your charcoal grill to get it started. But I've never heard that. But like I said, we have a lot of experience with people trying to burn paper, especially Christmas Day or even Christmas Eve sometimes, because you'll have family come over to open their gifts on Christmas Eve in some families.
How often should you get your fireplace cleaned?
Annually inspected. You're talking chimneys. Yeah, annually inspect the chimneys. Have a licensed chimney sweep come in. Now, you can do it yourself if you have, and of course you can get online now with YouTube and learn how to do it and so forth. But I would much rather have someone that's professional, that knows what they're doing, that has, now that we have the technology of inserting that camera down, and they can check for cracks, because those are things that you wouldn't see generally. I mean, you're talking 2 stories or 2 levels, 3 levels, could be 30 foot tall or something like that. Of course, who wants to be on top of
Burning chimney.
Yeah. Other than firefighters, that's one of the first things. Make sure the fire's out in the fireplace or the wood stove, and then have somebody up on the roof checking that and checking for extension and in the attic spaces and things of that nature. But
the taller the chimney, the cooler the smoke is by the time it gets to the top. So that means you go to get more deposits in the chimney.
Yep.
On the upper levels. So if you got a one-story chimney, typically it's going to stay cleaner than like in a townhouse, though, with the chimneys coming up from the basement. Those will get dirtier.
Good point. Good tip. Yeah, so call your chimney sweep and get the work done there, right?
Yeah.
Or figure out how to do it yourself, but either way, you got to adjust that issue. In regards to fire extinguishers in the home, typically speaking, how long do those, if you don't use them at all, typically how long do those last before they no longer would have the pressure?
Well, every 5 years you have a hydrostatic test of a pressurized extinguisher. The little ones that we get in Walmart, Kmart, wherever, those, it's not worth the price of putting it out to get it inspected or to get it hydrostatically tested. It's just the cost is not the return on investment, the ROI, what they call it now.
Costs more than the actual unit.
Exactly. Yeah. So in 5 years, you should be testing the pressure. I mean, it has to be or should be pressure tested. And I know we were talking earlier off the air. We were talking about my years of experience at Fairchild, where the A-10s were manufactured, or final manufacturer, because the fuselage was started up in Farmingdale, Long Island, New York, up in Brandon's neck of the woods. But we had over 700 fire extinguishers in Fairchild that we had to do, and 75 sprinkler systems, all different types, whether it be wet pipe, dry pipe, deluge systems, and so forth. But so we had a lot of experience. But like I said, once every 5 years on the pressurized extinguishers, you needed to send them out to get the cylinders tested. So every 5 years or so, use it or not. But it also it helps. One thing that helps, and we found, is over a period of time, especially if you have them in vehicles, as that vehicle moves down the road and it shakes, and the dry chemical that's inside of those things will settle down, and then when you try to use that thing, it may or may not work. So we had to go through the ones were dry chemical at the Fairchild plant. We had to go through, invert those things, shake them up a little bit to make sure that the powder was still a liquid on the inside, because that's what you're doing. You're making sure that if that stuff's coming out, the dry chemicals coming out is going to come out and not be caked up.
What do you do with an old extinguisher? How do you dispose of it?
Well, you're supposed to just invert it, discharge it. If you invert it, then the pickup tube is up high and all the powder's down low. So the only thing you should be getting out at that time is the dry nitrogen that's used to charge the extinguishers.
And you can just throw it away?
And then you can dispose of it once you get the pressure off of it. Or if the pressure gauge says 0, then you're going
You can also buy these 2.5-gallon water cans, like the ones you used to have in school. If you got a fireplace, those are ideal.
Yes.
You fill them with water, take it down to sheets or whatever, and pressurize it like you put air in your tires, and they're great. Like for fireplace fire, I knocked down an attic fire with one of those things one time. It's as trained firefighters, you're the can man. Yeah.
You take a pressurized water extinguisher. That's one of the first things for that. One of the first people off the apparatus is going to go in with the can, and unless it's a fully involved house fire, you're not going to do much with the pressurized water extinguisher on that.
We call Gilstrip the can man around here too, but for an entirely
different reason.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Steve Allen, thank you very much.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Brandon Wonder, thank you too. Yeah, good stuff, guys. We appreciate it.